Alright everybody, welcome back. We're going to be going over some Lothal combat missions this time around. We're doing the Lothal combat guide. I'm going to go over those in a minute. What I really want to show you real quick though is a preview from Phase 3. I unfortunately ran into some timing issues. My mods were all, the mod sets were deleted. My actual mods weren't deleted, so I had to go and remake mod sets for all of the big special missions in Phase 3. So that was a lot, and then I wasn't sure if I had the right mod, so I didn't want to record something where it was going to be a failure. Didn't end up being a failure. All my mods were good, so we'll get to that. It's just going to come out next TV probably, but for now we're going to jump over to a couple of the Phase 4 planets. We're going to do Lothal, and I just want to give you a preview of what Phase 3 looks like. So this is the special missions from Phase 1. That's Kira's special mission, and then this is the JKCK special mission with Seer Junda on Phase 2. And then this is what happens after day 3, which is another payday, and I like paydays. So we get 2,250 from the Bo-Katan special mission. We get 45 shards from the Tatooine Inquisitor special mission, the Reva mission. And then we go ahead and get 1,550 from the Dothamir special mission. Some people will go ahead and finish that today because we're doing a 2-phase Dothamir still. And then we got 2,000 from the Kashyyyk special mission with Saw and the Rebel Fighters. And then I do Zepho special mission early because I have all Bad Batch R9 platoons. So that's just an idea of the huge payday that you get in day 3 if you do the special missions, and then even a little bit with Zepho if you're doing that early. It ends up being a lot of get to, and people vastly underestimate how much those teams pay dividends. So, because all that leads to Electrum conductors, Inbittle, data cards, impulse detectors, all that sort of thing. So moving on from that though, that was just a preview. I'll go ahead and show you how to get through all those special missions next time. For now, we're going to go ahead and focus on Lothal, and I'm going to show you the light side combat mission that you got to do, the Jedi combat mission that you got to do. I can't show you Phoenix because I don't have R8 Phoenix, but I've heard this is pretty easy, especially with Captain Rex if you have R8 Phoenix. And then I'll go ahead and show you the fleet mission as well. Now, we're not going to wait for platoons. Some guilds will do Lothal in 2 phases, so the first phase they can't even do it with platoons anyway. That's how we did it for a long time, but now we're doing Lothal in 1 so that we can do Ring of Catherine in 2. So I'm not gonna wait for platoons, just to give you an idea, but you can if you're feeling not confident or your squads aren't quite what you want them to be. But yeah, that's just a little note on the platoons. Okay, so moving on to the combats, we got the Jedi mission. I think you probably know what it's going to be if you've seen my other videos. We're going to be using the new Jedi Master Mace Windu, Depa, Billaba, Jocasta, Temple Guard, and Aayla. Now, I understand that not everybody's going to have these, but you probably will one day. You're going to be moving in that direction. You got a lot of incentive to go ahead and Relic 9 these characters because of the raid. So, but there are other teams that can work here. Most of the the Galactic Legend Jedi. So for instance, Jedi Master Kenobi can work here, Jedi Master Luke, and these are all pretty much auto. You throw 4 Jedi in with them and they're pretty much auto. You don't even need like Jedi Knight Luke, which I don't have at R8 as you can see here. So, but for now we're going to go ahead and use Mace. This is mostly because, well, I have it, but Depa's Omicron is really good. I enjoy Depa's Omicron. And then also my Jedi Master Luke gets platooned, and I use Jedi Master Kenobi on Kessel, which you'll see in another video. So I'm gonna go ahead and do these ones. Again, mods don't really matter. I just use whatever mods I have for my normal set, and you just go ahead and hit auto. You can do a little manual targeting if you want to, but the auto targeting tends to work pretty well because, well, Jedi Master can go ahead and target the ones that he's investigating. So but yeah, this is pretty straightforward. Because the Depa Omicron stops revives, those like 5 stacks that they all have where they revive after they die up to 5 times, all that goes away because of Depa's Omicron. I think it's Depa's Omicron. I want to believe it's Depa's Omicron. It might just be like a mace ability, but in any case, this makes things exceptionally quick because you don't have to go through a bunch of different bodies, right? They just kind of breeze through it, and then when Jocasta gets to gun mode, then all bets are off. They don't even have time to build up their stacks. Like normally, if you've seen this combat, I'm sure you've done it at some point maybe. You'll see that like these stacks that they have right here, whatever it's called, rebellious, get up to like a lot. That's kind of how you end up winning, is that you have a lot of assist teams, whether it be Jedi Master Kenobi, which calls to a lot of assists, especially with General Kenobi, or you have Jedi Master Luke, which his unique ability kind of calls for a lot of assists. But here they're not even going to get very high, and they're just going to go ahead and breeze on through it. Now, if you're running a different team, or this team for a matter, you can go ahead and target the guy in the middle because he doesn't have revive, so you kind of want to get him out early. Plus, he has the big mass AOE thing. So normally I would target him first, but again, with this one, no revive, so targeting anybody is kind of accomplishing a little bit of the same effect. Okay, so that one nice and tidy, all wrapped up. Now we're gonna go ahead and go over to the top mission here. For this one, I'm gonna go ahead and use Leia. No, I'm not using Leia this time. No. Okay, so I'm saving Leia for Kessel. That's right. So we're gonna do Rey, Kelleran, Beck, Plo Koon, General Kenobi, and Grandmaster Yoda. This is an interesting squad. I don't really have a lot of the Rey pieces that would normally go with Rey. I have to platoon my Ben Solo, and then other stuff is R7, not R8. But you're gonna get a nice little effect here because Rey does the hope thing on all light side allies. General Kenobi is going to go ahead and give crit immunity to make sure you can't get rid of the hope because they have crit immunity. Then Grandmaster Yoda is going to be spreading all that around, and it's just going to kind of be a good effect. And then call to assist. That's going to go ahead and get those stacks of rebellions that we were talking about. This should be pretty easy and straightforward. So just go ahead and hit auto, let it do what it do. Now it looks like we did end up getting a platoon while I was waiting here, because I saw that Guerrilla Strike ability in the bottom right, but all in all, it's not really going to change anything. I mean, it might even be less useful. I don't know exactly what it does even, but I know that for a long time we were doing Lothal in 2, and the teams worked pretty much exactly the same from phase 4 to phase 5, or whatever we were doing, maybe phase 6. I can't even remember at this point. Yeah, we've been doing Kashyyyk for a single phase in a long time too. So this one takes a little bit longer because of, I mean, you don't have a bunch of high powered tunes here. That's kind of what Rebellious helps build up, is the damage. Rey will obviously do that every now and then. If I can click on KB, there it goes. Critical chance and critical damage stacking to a max of 20. So you're looking at like 40 extra stacks, right? So that can go a decent way when everybody has 40% extra critical damage. And then you're ramping mastery with Rey, because as you can see, everybody has the stacks of hope or inspired. I don't know why I call it hope all the time, but like side characters receive bonuses when they're inspired, effects after receiving 3 critical hits. So, and then their mastery is being manipulated. So it just takes some time to build up, but eventually you'll get there. You notice that nobody's really in danger, except Rey looks like she's in danger, but that's because she's doing it to herself with the lifeblood. But then you do that, and then they can't revive even with the stacks because Rey's Whirlwind prevents revives if they die. So that's another added benefit, but very plug and play. A lot of people wouldn't think to go ahead and pair all these Jedi, but it works. A lot of squads will work with Rey too, just by the nature of what she's doing here. So pretty straightforward. We're gonna have to re-ramp mastery, I think, when we move into the new one. I don't think mastery carries over between encounters. Could be wrong on that, but in any case, it'll take a little bit too, because you'll still have to go through all the bodies. On her ult, she does not prevent revives. I don't know if you just saw that there, but she ulted, not Whirlwind. And then they went ahead and came back. But this is definitely one of those ones where you kind of just set it and walk away for a little bit while they kind of do their business. Hopefully we'll be closer to max stacks at the end. And of course, you can also time if you want to take it off auto every now and then. If that's your thing, you can go ahead and take it off auto to make sure that you do the Whirlwind at the right times, or save it in that case because nobody had stacks. But see, this would be a situation where I go ahead and target the middle guy, let them hammer on him for a little bit until he gets taken out because he can't revive. But yeah, I don't know if, well, I mean, I wouldn't recommend taking Phoenix. There are certain plans where people do Lothal in 3 phases if you're like going for less stars. overall. Like if you're working your way up, right? People will. I've seen guilds kind of use Phoenix as a way to get like maximum value out of it, is do Lothal in 3 phases. Because if you're not doing anything with Ring of Caffeine, then you might be able to save it towards the end. And then the benefit of that is being able to go ahead and use those Phoenix for 3 phases. And Lothal's combats, as you can see here and the previous one, they're pretty easy and straightforward auto combats that give a lot of points. So if you're not going to do Ring of Caffeine stuff, it helps to just go ahead and rely on combat missions to fill up the bulk of that, because you get it over 3 phases. Finishing it in the 3rd phase, obviously. But we didn't do that. So by the time that strategy kind of realized, and the possibility of maybe relicking Phoenix was happening, we were kind of moving pretty quick. And because we were moving so quick, it was like we were quickly gonna move from doing Lothal from 2 phases into 1 phase, and then moving on to like our 9 platoons for Ring of Caffeine. So there's never really an opportunity where it made good sense to relic 8 Phoenix, and I'm not sure it does even still, because at the end of the day, it is just a combat mission. And relic 8 Phoenix, they can impress people. They can do some pretty fun things in territory war. If you got Hera's Omicron, at least once Captain Rex came out, and then in GSE they could be pretty fun in 5s. But it's just kind of an off meta team when you have high relics. It's not really like I would say a solid team that you're having. They keep on switching because of the taunt. That's what keeps happening. That's why we can't kill this guy in the middle. But even though we didn't kill him early, you see it's not really impacting a ton. They're not really in any danger between the crit immunity and the lifeblood, and then the protection that Rey gets if they get to half health, right? I think it's half health that they go into damage immunity and then heal back up at the end of it. So yeah, but these damage numbers are so small without Rey doing the big hit, even with all those stacks. And we finally got through that. So 500,000 points just like that. Okay, so knocking out those combat missions, and that's interesting. We had the Gorilla Strike ability. Maybe I'm thinking of an earlier phase when that goes ahead and gives it to us. Very strange. It says disabled though. I don't know why we had it. Maybe that was a glitch or something. Anyways, going on to the light side special mission. Now you can auto this. You're just being a little risky. I'd put it at 70-30 chance of success when you're autoing. But if you play it out, you should jump up to like 95% win rate, if that, maybe 100%, closer to 100%. So we're doing Profundity, Outrider, Rebel Y-Wing, Han's Millennium Falcon, and then your usual suspects in the reinforcements with Phantom, Bistan, Cassian, and then Biggs. You normally probably would have Ghost in a Profundity lined up, but we can't use Ghost here because we need it for Kessel. The Kessel mission requires Ghost in the fleet one. So we're gonna go ahead and use this here. So name of the game is kind of the same as other Empire ships. You just want to kind of mostly avoid dying. So we're going to be relying on the defensive buffs more than most. And you want to go ahead and get to upload kind of as fast as you can. So we're going to go ahead and do this right here. And we'll call Outrider to assist twice. And then they'll go ahead and get a bunch of hits on there. Then you want to use the upload ability. Make sure you use that whenever possible because it's 20% upload. And you can go ahead and basic here to get an assist called. Then we'll use Rebel Y-Wing special. Try to strip the protection, but that hardly ever happens. They have too much I guess they have too much tenacity. I'm not exactly sure how Rebel Y-Wing works there, but I think it's protection disruption, which leads to the protection going away. But yeah, there's no way really to affect Rebel Y-Wing's potency, and then they just have too much tenacity for that to happen. So you call in Phantom as the first reinforcement, so you can reinforce earlier, and just go boom, try to get that TIE bomber out of there ASAP, and then focus on TIE advanced. And this is one of the easier ones to full auto when you are. If you want to go that route, just because you're not dealing with Scythe and Chimera and all that nonsense. But we'll go ahead and defense up there. I like to bring in the tank for added security, but I don't think it matters too much which one you bring in. And after you're kind of at that phase of TIE Bomber being out, let's go ahead and see what this next reinforcement is. Yeah, we're gonna be at 100% here, so go ahead and let them do what they're gonna do, but it's not gonna change anything. You go ahead and hit full auto. Yeah, I think on this one, because I was mixing up, I always get them confused which Empire ships we're facing. I think on this one, it's actually closer to like a 90% auto rate by default, because you don't need to deal with all the Imperial TIE fighters and the Scythe and everything. So yeah, I'd put this auto at closer to 90%. Things can go a little bit wonky if the targeting happens, because MILF will constantly use that the wiggle when they don't need to, because they're not under a home 1 lineup, so it doesn't give them 100% turn meter. So, but this is pretty straightforward and done. Yeah, so that covers Lothal. One day maybe we'll get Relic 8 Phoenix, but if you have it, by all means, go ahead and tell me in the comments how easy it is for you if you have R8 Phoenix and you use it. But yeah, that's Lothal. If you got value out of this video, go ahead and hit the like button. Go ahead and hit the subscribe button for more guides and content like this, and hit the notification bell so you know when they go live. Thanks for watching. Bye.